DSP Quick Tips brought to you by Mosconi DSP. And today we are going to take a look at an input-output setup on a Mosconi amplifier. This is the software for the Mosconi 830. However, any of the current DSPs use the same software. Setting up inputs and outputs are probably one of the most confusing things that you can do in a DSP. Depending on the manufacturer, some of them have some really like, oh my gosh, it doesn't make any sense. And then some of them kind of follow basic protocol. Mosconi kind of follows some of the basic protocol. It has input, mixer, main EQ, equalizer, filters, and phase, and dB. But what we want to look at is input right here first. Now we're going to put this in the basic mode as opposed to the advanced mode because this will get us as far as we need to go for this particular lesson. The inputs we're going to use are going to be analog, high-level, low-level input, and we want to go to our mixer, which is this cool gray box in the middle. This will automatically drop down these cool colors. If you notice, these cool colors here, the gray, the green, the blue, and the pink correspond to main equalizers, gray, green, blue, and pink. If we want to rename these, so for example, this is called center sub. We're not actually going to have a center sub, so we can come in here and we can just call this sub. We'll hit enter. And then auxiliary we're not going to have, but we'll just leave it saying aux for right now. When we wire up our factory radio to this, we're going to take the front two wires and go to inputs 1 and 2. We're going to take the rear two wires and we're going to go to inputs 3 and 4. And that's as exciting as that gets. It's going to correspond over here to the easy setup. Input, analog high to low, 1, we need to put a number here. If you come over to the input side where it says info, you have 25 is minus 12 dB. It's going to be a low signal, an attenuated signal. 50% is 6, 100 is 0, and 200 is plus 6 dB. Now you say, whoa, why would I want plus? Let's just say you're putting in an environment where the output is so low, you need a little bit of gain coming in just to get it to work. That 200 allows you to do that. It's a really nice feature that they do. It also works really well if you're doing some form of an auxiliary that has a very low input. Coming over to output group 1, going to type in 100. That is going to be left front. Go to stagger it down. 246 is what it's saying in here. That is our front, left, and right. Come over to the green group, skip over the first two. We're going to put 100 for 3 and 100 for 4. Now we're going to come over to the sub. And for that, we want to feed in signal so that we can do what's called non-fade, meaning whether we have it going from the front or the rear, we want both those to make sure our sub is going. 50% here, 50% here, and then we'll come down and we'll do the same on these two, 50, 50. And what this now is going to do, it's going to give us 50% of all four corners of the car, in turn giving us 100% on left and 100% on right, is then going to become mono and go out to our subwoofer that we're going to add. Now these boxes are going to correspond to these boxes up here. 1 through 6 are set up for front, so that is going to be our tweeters, our mid-range, and our mid-bass. 7 and 8 are set up for rear, and we want to make 9 and 10 our sub. So we'll switch this here, and then we'll switch that to aux because we're not using it, and you notice there it just changed colors. Now we have our outputs set up. Our sub is going to get the combination of non-fade. My rear is getting the full signal from the rear. My fronts are all getting the full signal from the front. And that's it, guys. That has been DSP Quick Tips from Mosconi DSP.